Everyone, just checking if the connection is okay. Just let us know if you're able to see it.
Hi guys, welcome to our live on YouTube and LinkedIn. We've been doing it for I think a few weeks, more than a month now. As always, please drop your questions in the comment section. We will be able to see your questions and we will answer them. Usually, YouTube is a better avenue for you to paste your questions. So if you're joining me from my LinkedIn, please hop over to Gradvine's YouTube channel where we are live and you can type your questions in there. It's just a more seamless way for us to get the questions. We've seen glitches from LinkedIn's end, on the past, in the past rather. Also, while you're at it, please do hit the subscribe button because we do a lot of good content on YouTube as well. So, you can shoot your questions and we would be happy to answer. I am certain, considering the time of the year we are in, there will be questions with respect to your essays. Perhaps if your shortlist has been done right, maybe you're filling the applications and you have certain queries. I'm sure you'll have a bunch of these. Anything under the sun, you can ask us, and of course related to your master's applications, and we would be happy to answer. So we'll just wait for your questions to flow in. Suraj, do you have anything to add?
No, I was just wanting to. So, because both Sreekar and I talk to thousands of students every year, right? I'm just a little curious in terms of what we think students need to be done. So, in the past, we've talked about how this is the part of the year where you should have already started filling out applications, if not already applied to. What are you seeing in general? What state are students coming to you with?
With coming to me, it's a mixed bag. We have people who are super prepared, and it's always great to be early. So people perhaps wrapping up their documents. In fact, there are a bunch of November 15 deadlines. So by default, we get people who are finishing off their applications, submitting it, getting their recommendation letters uploaded by now. We also get people who are starting off now, which, if I have to be perfectly honest, is late in the game, but not impossible to do. um, we've had people who started off pretty late get some very good results as well, but now is crunch time essentially. I don't think we can play around too much in terms of delaying it 2 3
Yeah.
days here and there, because it makes a big difference. I think we have our first question. Go ahead, Suraj, with that.
How should my professional LOR be? Should it be technical, non-technical? I have very relevant work X aligned to my MS, and I want to mention my work lucidly in my professor LOR. All right, so pretty good question, right, Shivangi? So the idea of an LOR is for whoever is giving you the LOR to attest for both you as a person as well as your work as a professional. So it should be a combination of both technical and non-technical. It also depends on who is giving you the letter of recommendation, right? If it's a technical manager, concentrate a little heavily on your technical aspects. If it's a director level person, they might not know too much about your technical expertise, but will know about your contributions to a particular project, or the overall impact that you've created, or the kind of person that you are in terms of gelling well with the team or not. Right. So it depends on a couple of things, but ideally have both technical and non-technical aspects showcased within the LO. The second question is for you, Sreekar. So,
All right,
um,
I'll take that from Rohan
go
Vakil. I'm unsure how to weigh UIUC MSTM against NEU, NYU, NCSU. Can you rank these priority wise? um, See, MEMs, it's not black and white nowadays, right? The curriculums are so very different that for some of you, NYU might make more sense. For some of you, NEU might make more sense. For the others, UIUC might make more sense, right? It really depends on the career outcomes you want, how much you want to spend. So, strictly black and white, I can't say that this university is definitely better for everybody. But generally, in terms of reputation, ROI, if you ask me, I'd rate the NCSU program very, very highly because I think it's a very, very underrated school. It's among the very best for a lot of the programs it offers. It's a top 20 for a lot of courses. And even though the MEM program is low because of its location and the cost, it would be my standout perhaps among these. After that, I'd say UIUC purely because it takes the edge in terms of reputation. It's a terrific school as well. NEU, NYU are very difficult to separate. Again, really depends on how much you're willing to spend on the degree, how much of stress you can take during the job search. But if you put a gun to my head, this is my priority order.
All right. Let's look at the next question. Is there any resume template for MSCS? Should we keep it to one page? Great question, Nitish. I think we have a bunch of resume templates that we keep giving out to students wherever we go. Please make sure to request for it by sending out an email or a message to info@gradvine.com or any of our social handles, and my team will be able to send you a format. But here's the thing, right? If you do not have more than 2 years or 2.5 or 3 years of work you have absolutely not done enough to warrant a two-page resume yet. If you have a lot of work experience, if you've done a lot of work, if you have a lot of academic publications, etc., then it makes sense for you to go onto a 1.5 or a two-page resume. But if you're someone with less than 2 years of work experience, it absolutely has no meaning or no need for you to do a two-page. Matthew asks us, for someone who has a BS and an MA in a different field, is it wise applying to an MS in the field of one's BS or while mentioning relevant modules or experience from the MA? Very, very subjective question, Matthew. It depends on what you want to gain out of the master's degree. If the idea of getting a master's degree is for you to be able to go into a particular stream or field or domain or skill, right? Irrespective of what your undergrad and your master's, previous master's was, you should try and identify what skills you will need to get into the career of your choice and then work backwards to find the right program for you. So my recommendation would be for you to schedule a free consultation call with us, talk to us about what bachelor's and master's you already have, what your career goals are, and what sort of degrees we will tell you what sort of degrees you can apply to given this background information. I'm planning on applying for fall 2023. I haven't given the TOEFL yet. It's on the 7th of December. Would it be a problem? Depends on the degree that you're applying to. If you are applying to computer science and related degrees, just as an FYI, a lot of universities had deadlines either on November 1st or November 15th. So a bunch of universities have already closed out their November 1st deadlines. In fact, at Gradvine, I was just checking the admits situation. We've already gotten admits from a bunch of fantastic institutes. So Northeastern, I think, is starting out giving some admits. UT Dallas has given out a bunch of computer science admits. Arizona State, I hear, is also starting to give out admits. So is NCSU. So in terms of computer science, it's okay if your TOEFL is a little late, but make sure to push through all applications by December 15th. You want to take the next one?
Sure. Is it fine if I don't submit my GRE to Dartmouth and Columbia MEM as their option? My GRE is just 312. 312 is a decent score. I've had similar GRE scores make it to Dartmouth and Columbia repeatedly in the past. If it's optional, a 312, I would report it because it's still a decent score. So send it in. It's not a bad score, at all.
Some applications are asking about financial aid, assistantship, fellowship, receiving funding from other sources. What should we answer for these? So again, there is no one-size-fits-all answer to this as well. If you need financial aid, please indicate it. If you are getting funding from another source, which is basically education loans, someone else is sponsoring, please go for the third option.
All right. Could you please suggest the top MIM programs? I will be applying to LBS and INSEAD. I prefer a 1-year MIM, but I'm open to other options. I have a 710 on the GMAT as of now. All right. If you're applying to MIM and if you are, if you value job opportunities, maybe working for a period after you graduate, which I think everybody should, unless yours is a specifically different case. I would strongly recommend you look at the French schools because the job opportunities are better. So while LBS is a great school, while the London School of Economics is a great school, I would definitely prefer maybe an HEC Paris. I would prefer an ESCP. I would prefer an ESSEC, right? I would load my list with more French schools because the job opportunities are slightly better. So top should not be your consideration. The country you go to is very important. Netherlands also,
Yeah.
look at Rotterdam, good school.
Yeah, and make sure to, depending on where you're going in Europe, make sure to pick up the local language, man. I mean, without the local language, it's becoming increasingly difficult for folks to get a job in anywhere in the European countries. So, highly, highly recommend that you try and figure out a job. I'm just playing around with a couple of layouts to see if this makes sense.
This one's terrible.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, you can go ahead with your answer.
So this is the MSITM at UT Austin. It's just a 10-month program. Should we still go for it? It's a short degree. Finding internships and jobs together would be tougher. Let's clear out some misconceptions, right, Era? So first of all, the MSITM at UT Austin is a 2-semester program, a 9-month program. However, understand that it's a program that only lets in people with at least 2 years of work ex, which means that they're coming in with enough significant work experience in order to not be going through the internship route to get the full-time role. They can just straight away after they graduate or even before they graduate apply to full-time roles and be able to get those as well. So when you are doing a 1-year degree program, there is no spot for an internship anywhere in between the program, because ideally you're going to be doing fall and spring and you're going to be graduating, right? So from that perspective, there is no time for you to find an internship. There is no need for you to find an internship. It's a professional degree that's enabling anyone with experience in previous fields to make the geographical shift to the US. Second, it's UT Austin. You can't go wrong with UT Austin. Like, it's a top 5 public university in the US. So if you get in, absolutely close your eyes and just go.
All right. Hey, Sreekar, I'm applying to MEM through Gradvine itself. All right. Thank you for trusting us with the process. But now I realize that NYU is pretty expensive and I want to switch this with other universities. Can you please recommend another good university for MEM? See, I don't know what your current list features, but something along the same level, if you like the curriculum, would be North Carolina State. I think I touched upon it. It's going to be cheaper than NYU for sure, and it's a very good program. NCSU, might be a good bet, which falls round and about the same tier and level as NYU, maybe a little bit here and there. So NCSU, if it doesn't feature in your list already, would be a good bet.
All right. I have a beautiful question here from Sai Krishna that I want to spend a little bit of time on. I will generalize the answer for anyone who's taken the plunge into starting up their own business or a startup, or and for whatever reasons it didn't work out, right? One of the biggest things that I think is a cultural difference between Indians and the Western world is the acceptance of failure, the acceptance of gap years, the acceptance of traveling abroad, trying to figure out what you actually want to do and stuff like that. It's a very, very culturally different thing for Indians versus the Western world, where they're absolutely okay with it. In fact, they encourage it. Therefore, starting something, not going well, not going through, maybe facing some problems with the company or the business and being able to and having to shut it down is absolutely not a problem. In fact, I would highly, highly encourage you to talk about this in as much detail as possible, including the lessons you learned in terms of why the business failed or why you had to shut it down after 2 years. So definitely talk about what was the gap you were trying to fill, what was the business model in which you started this, or what was the technical skill that led you to starting this, what did you learn through the process, and why did it not survive past the 2-year mark, and what were your learnings from there. I would highly recommend that you put this up both in the statement of purpose as well as the resume. In fact, this year we have a couple of folks that I'm directly mentoring that have had the guts to start a startup, did not go through, but are writing about it very, very strongly as an experience within both their application. So definitely something that I would recommend. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to decrease or increase the chances, but here's the caveat, right? For example, a Northeastern for computer science has an April 15 deadline. For any university that has a deadline, for any university and program that has a deadline past Feb 1st, automatically register in your head that it must be a rolling application. Nobody is sitting down after the entire application is done in March, April, May, going through the applications, giving you an admit then, and expecting you to come in and join as an international student. So it's absolutely okay if you're applying to a university which has a deadline December 1st, December 15, Jan 15, or even Feb 1st, right before the deadline. But it's not okay for you to be applying in March or April or May. Definitely try and finish applications as early as possible because there isn't anything for you to lose and only everything to gain if that university follows a rolling pattern of admission. You want to go ahead?
Yep, I'll answer one and the next. So, what are the disadvantages of one-year master's program? Should I choose if I don't have any other choice? One-year master's programs, like Suraj mentioned, you will not have the option to do the internship, and if you have limited work experience, then that internship can be very helpful, both in terms of padding your resume with when you're actually searching for a full-time job, and secondarily that internship might convert to a full-time job in itself, right? So if you don't have prior work experience, then definitely 2 years master's programs are preferable. That being said, if you go to like a top tier program like say Cornell MEM, or if you look at a UT Austin MSITM, right? Even though they're 1 year, the reputation of the program itself will make you sail through. So these are the disadvantages, but it's not going to be a major difference. Of course, if you have two universities at the same level, one's a 1 year, the other is 1.5, 2 years, then you'd prefer the 2 year master's
Longer.
program. But I wouldn't discount 1 year master's programs as bad. They can still be good. And I'll quickly touch upon the next question from Chetan. What is your take on the US MIM programs like Duke MMS and Cornell MPS? If you are an engineer, don't apply to these. Sure, they're STEM designated, but they don't give you enough hard skills. They're too general management to make you a viable, hireable asset. If you're a non-engineer, sure, you don't have any other choice. You can't really apply for engineering management. Therefore, you can apply to these programs and get the STEM designation despite coming from a non-STEM undergrad. So almost like a cheat code, right? So it works for you. But they're okay. I mean, they're not great. They're little expensive. Job search is a little bit of a struggle, but you should still be fine. By and large.
All right, I'll take the next one. One of my recommenders submitted the LOR already, but now wanted to make some changes in it. Is it okay to exclude the previous submission and provide a new request to upload? Sure, yes, doesn't really make a difference. But I don't know of too many universities that will let you make an update to the recommendation form once they have already submitted it through the portal. I don't know, Sreekar, any thoughts on
Depends
what to
on
do in this
what the
case?
changes. If it's something small, like one line here and there or something, it really
Sure.
doesn't matter. I wouldn't go through the exercise. So I think we'll have a little bit of time for you to actually type out, the specific change he wants to make. If it's a language change or something, then I wouldn't even bother with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Stanford MSc questions.
All right. To answer your question again, I think yes, it's a little too ambitious for you. Stanford is big on hard numbers. I've not seen anybody with a GPA below 9 get in. I've not seen anybody with a GRE below 328, 329 get in. They're big on hard numbers. So yes, I think it would be a little too ambitious for you.
Just look at the number of, so every year we've had at least one or two Stanford MSc admits over the last 4 years, I want to say. Every year, the kinds of people that have gotten into the Stanford MSc have had a 9+. In some cases, students from an undergraduate in the US, so a 3.8 or a 4 on a scale of 4, and a 330 plus. Those have been the kinds of guys with work experience. One trend, and Sreekar, you should validate this, maybe one trend that I've also seen is folks with either a little bit of a healthcare background or a operations background have been at an advantage, at a slight advantage in terms of getting it. Would you agree, just based on the data that we have so far?
Based on our data, sure, but definite strong preference for WorkX in
Yeah.
recent years. Like even people with the hard metrics without WorkX have not been getting in. But yeah, the numbers speak for themselves. Like I think the GRE and the GPA are a little off.
If I submit my application with LORs pending, will they start reviewing and not count for LORs? Will wait. Usually, universities want all your application material while they're reviewing it. but a little bit of delay on the LORs should ideally technically be okay. Just make sure to submit everything from your end. Again, like I keep saying, right? Control things that are under your control. LORs, unfortunately, sometimes are not under your control. So don't worry thinking about it too much. Just keep pushing your professors to upload it as soon as possible. Um, but again, not something that is under your control. So stop worrying about it.
All right. Next question. Well, it's on your screen. Is UIUC a better option? Is there anything to consider before applying to NCSU? See, NCSU, again, I keep saying this on all my lives and webinars, right? MEM programs are no longer one size fits all. There is no, definite this is better than the other sort of discussion because the curriculums can be different. So it depends on what roles you want to get into. NCSU has a very flexible curriculum, but it's still slightly more tailored to people who want to get into operations, supply chain, industrial engineering, because it's a spin-off of a very, very traditionally strong industrial engineering program. NCSU Industrial is a top 10, top 15, right? I'd even say it's a top 10. So that's where the DNA of the program is, right? Doesn't mean you can't take non-operations courses, but that's why that's one thing you have to be sure about, whether you like the curriculum. Is UIUC a better option? Maybe. That's more of a general management curriculum, much closer to NYU, and it has a data science track, right, which is more in tune for people who want to code and stuff like that. So it might be a better option for you. NCSU also might be a good option. Both of them are not bad, but which one's better for you really depends on the curriculum. You can pick either over the other and you'll still be in a good place.
Is it advisable to do a 2-year master's in project management from Curtin University after doing a bachelor's in mechanical? I have absolutely no idea about Curtin and in general Australia as a country, because we view it, I think, as a bigger immigration hub than an education hub. So not too much that I can talk about this. How to add work experience in SOP if you have experience of working in 2 companies? Talk about both of them, man. I mean, we have a framework that we typically use for all of the projects and work experience paragraphs: STAR, situation, task, actions, and results. Talk about your particular situation. What were the tasks or challenges that you had to overcome? What technical actions did you take? And what results, most important, what results were you able to achieve? What impact were you able to create? Talk about it in 2 separate paragraphs. Talk about one project from each of these works. MSCS, MEM, MIS 7.28, 2 years of work X. Define good. If it's a top 50, the answer is yes. If it's a top 10, the answer probably is no for CS and MIS. For an MEM, it's a maybe.
That's about it. Agreed.
How many safe universities should be enough? Kind of nervous. Depends on what level you're at in terms of the application. If you're a 9-pointer and above, 2 is okay. If you're an 8.5 and above, 2 is still fine. If you are less than 8.5, I would recommend adding in one more safety. If you are 6 and below or 6.5 and below, your list should have at least 6 safeties.
All right, yeah, I'll take this one. See, it's okay if certain projects or certain bits of content are repeated or paraphrased in the LOR, even if they're in the SOP, right? That's okay. LORs can also exist to validate the stuff you've written about in the SOP from another person's perspective. Now, if the exact same sentence was copy pasted or if it was very similar, then it's a little bit of a problem, because then that doubt comes into the admissions committee's mind whether the same person has written both of them. If you paraphrased it, if you worded it differently, but the actual thing that you've done is the same in the LOR and the SOP, it's fine, leave it. I hope that helps.
MSCS from Germany, pros and cons. Almost all of them are low to no tuition fee. Cons are it's not as big as a market as the US. In terms of being able to find a job might be a little tricky, but if you're coming from a financially constrained background, Germany could be a heaven in terms of getting a master's. Top 20, 25 CS programs that are not on the undergrad major that are open to taking ECE, guys. All right. A bunch of folks come to me with the same question. A few universities that I know of that have taken ECE or non-computer science majors in the past: Stony Brook, University of Massachusetts Amherst, Texas A&M, UT Dallas, San Jose State, Arizona State, and Northeastern. These are the only 7 places that I know of that are within the top 50 that have taken folks from a non-computer science background in computer science masters with both high GPA, high GRE, as well as work experience in core software engineering.
In fact, just to add on that, there's a video with a mentor on our YouTube, so you should hop onto that and check it out. Mayank Vanani shifted from an ECE to a CS, and he
Right.
talks about what helped him out with that. That's on our YouTube channel. Please watch it. Please share it with your friends. Absolutely no nonsense, on ground realities video. You'll find that super helpful.
329, 9.12 DJ. Yes. Prime candidate to apply to a Stanford, I think.
Yeah, I think that is a that is a Stanford potential profile. You should get into a top five, but again, not as simple as that. Again, I can't reiterate. If you want to get into something like product management, you should not even apply to Columbia in a sense, right? Even though it's a top five, not very friendly for that. So you can get into a top program. What is the right balance of universities for the career outcomes you want is something that we can help you with. So you will get into a great place. We'd love to help you out with your SOPs, LORs. But finding the right program, right curriculum for you is important. So schedule that free consultation call with us, and after that you could sign up for any of our services. And there's nobody better in the business for CS, MEM, analytics, MIS programs. You can see that. Do MEM programs require research papers? No. It's nice to have, but not a necessity.
The answer to this is yes. Depends on how you structure it, but the answer is yes. All right, let's move on to another question. If there's still time before the deadline, should I wait for the LOR to be submitted or should I submit anyways? You should 100% submit it. From your end, right? All of the things that you can control is submitting all of your documents, all of the transcripts, etc., and paying the fee. Do it from your end. Don't wait for the letter, for the recommendation letter to come in through your recommender. Don't wait for that. Go ahead and submit. Those seem to be all of the questions that we have. Did I miss any?
No, I think we covered all, and I have a 5:30 hard stop, so I'm going to be dropping off. So you can
Sounds good.
continue.
Yeah, I'll stick around for a couple more minutes, guys. If anyone has questions, please feel free to put them. I'll try and answer a couple of them. All right, 322, 8.6, 2 years, ambitious MEM, MIS programs you should be applying to. Definitely recommend for MIS, University of Washington, Carnegie Mellon, Texas A&M. These are UIUC. Those are 4 programs that I would recommend. For an MEM, I think everything apart from Stanford. Stanford is going to be a little too tricky for you to get into given the hard stats, but definitely look at Dartmouth, Duke, Columbia College. Johns Hopkins as well for an MEM. Are there MEM kinds of programs in Germany? Not so many, man. I mean, there are a few here and there that don't go by the same name. They're probably an analytics degree masquerading as or a project management degree, etc. But not too many MEMs that I. 9.2, 310, 9.2, 310, 100 TOEFL, 2 research papers. USC, Purdue, Duke, NCSU, TAMO. I would definitely look at Cornell. I don't know why Cornell is not on the list, but I would add Columbia or Cornell, one of these two. MSCS, apart from top ones like Berkeley, Caltech unfortunately doesn't take too many international students, so that's out. MSCS moderate, UC's ranking. So I'm assuming universities in California. So I would rank UCLA number 2, San Diego number 3, Davis number 4, Irvine number 5, San Jose number 6. What am I missing? Yeah, those are the ones that I would recommend. Are MEM programs focused on GRE? Do they consider GRE? Yes. So think about what the GRE signifies, right? GRE is a standardized test. That means that anyone coming from any program, any country, any syllabus can be pitted and checked upon a standard, essentially. So from that perspective, GRE is definitely important. 8.3, 7.5, two projects, three internships. Um, for which program? Just going by the names, I'm guessing it's the MEM. Good shots, I think definitely at UIUC and NYU. Duke also something that you should be able to get at least the interview. Any affordable STEM MBAs? Most MBAs offered by top universities in the US are now becoming STEM, right? So from that perspective, I don't know what the term affordable means, but you can look at Tepper, you can look at Babson, you can look at Naveen Jindal, you can look at USC Marshall, bunch of really good MBAs. MBAs in general are going to be expensive. Both of them fantastic industrial engineering programs. 8.4, 316. Yes, 100% you should definitely apply to those. Virginia Tech, UWash, Northeastern, Purdue, NCSU. Those are 5 universities that I would 100% apply to. Schedule a free consultation call if you haven't talked to us before. We'd love to help you out with the rest of the process as well. 322, 8.6, 2 year MIMS at Berkeley, 2 years JPM. So the kinds of people that I've put into Berkeley for the MIMS programs have usually had 3 years of WorkX, but this is a pretty solid profile. Definitely when you're writing the SOP, make sure to get the spelling of Berkeley right. But yes, I think you have a decent shot at it. Yeah, put both Math 1 and Math 2 and showcase the syllabus of that. How much does internships, sorry, how much does having internships can affect GRE 330, 9.1? Again, academically, GRE and GPA are good. In terms of using that theoretical knowledge in some corporate setting, internships will help. So it's just a different profile or different angle to your profile, right? Boulder, 8, 320, 2, mechanical at UMich Harbor. GPA is a little on the lower end, Vamsi. Both Mish and Purdue usually need a 3.8, which translates to about an 8.5. Good, safe EM programs for product management. Depends on your profile. All right, guys. I have a hard stop at 5:45, so I'll hang out for maybe a couple of more minutes. Let me check my calendar. But again, couple of things that I want to talk about very, very quickly and in general, right? Understand that we are towards the end of November. Most MEM deadlines and CS deadlines are going to be December 15th, which means you have 15 days to finish the entire thing. We've put out a bunch of resources. Look at Sreekar's webinar, which is also a YouTube video now on how to write an SOP. Look at my video on how to shortlist universities, what sort of levels you should pick up, etc. All of this material is available to you. Schedule a free consultation call if you need some advice that is very specific to your profile. And consider signing up for a service with us if you need professional help, which cuts down the amount of time and pushes you through the entire process as fast as possible. All right. Thanks so much again for joining in on a Sunday. I know there are a couple of more questions. Please feel free to get in touch with the rest of the team, set up free consultation calls, and we'd love to help you out. Thanks so much for coming in again on a weekend. We'll see you next weekend. We'll keep doing these live sessions throughout till I think the end of Jan. So you can keep catching us, asking any specific questions that you have, and we'll try to answer as many of them. All right. All right. Take care, guys. See you.